Welcome back. As you can see, we're in a new space. This place is awesome. It's huge. This room is like 20 by 30. See the microphone in the background there. The guy who gave it to me came in to like set it up because I was trying to use it and the sound was terrible. And he's like, nope, it's just too big and bouncy in here. You're stuck with a headset. So I'll use it as a prop. But I have mentioned, when posting about the program and that people should buy it, it's amazing. I've seen $10,000 programs with a third of what I share in here. I guess I should charge more. I don't know, but it's like, wow. Whatever people can get away with, I guess they're going to do. And I suppose it'd be worth it. Like if you got one thing that helped you make more sales and that helped you make 50K in sales, I think that would be very worth it, over that next year or something like that, 100,000 for sure. But I like to run on the good side of the math, and so a $2,500 investment for this program is a steal. You ought to be making 50, 100 grand by implementing what I share here. And this isn't some program a kid put together in a week. All right, I started doing Sales on Fire, the original program, when I was 38 years old. I already had tons of experience as an executive and a sales executive, production executive out there in the real world. Before I opened my mouth and said, hey, how do I get this, what's up here, transferred down into this kind of content right here so that, I can show it to you, to teach you, right? My whole point here is to show you another way of looking at things. Like, if you watch Bar Rescue or, what's that other show? Not The Apprentice. Boy, it's been a long time since I watched TV, you can tell. With that dude who was sponsoring the World Camping World Truck Series racing. Anyway, we could look that up later, but I don't want to hold us up with that. But anyway, this guy, he goes into distressed businesses and he analyzes it for taking them over. I like how I'm having new ideas on the fly here of examples. And that owner that he's talking to, who's looking for cash flow investment to stay alive, is trapped in their own thinking. Like they're looking around at their crappy business going, this is the way things have to be. And he's like, grabs him by the collar, hauls him out across the city or to the next state over to a successful version of the same business. It's the same business. It's not like they're changing niches or anything like that. It's the same damn business. And you can see that the light bulb go off in these people's heads, right? It's like, oh, this is how things could be. Oh, I get it. All right. And then they take that vision back to their crappy operation, and suddenly it's easy to make improvements because they have the clear vision of how things should be, and they can drive towards that instead of trying to come up with a new idea in the absence of anything. And so that's what I'm trying to do for you here, is show you a different way of looking at running a business. And you could reject it. You could say, Jason, I don't like that, or it's not a fit with my personality style. I was talking to one of my OPEX buddies yesterday, and he pointed out that there's a difference between process thinkers and systems thinkers. And so here's Jason talking about systems and systems thinking, which is a thing, and I'm studying it. I'm studying it now, 25 years after I graduated from college, where they taught me analytical thinking, very different style of thinking. And I was getting frustrated because I was trying to explain systems thinking, which is, again, a totally different way of thinking than the traditional analytical approach that they teach you, to some friends. And he was like, well, obviously, they're process people. They just don't get it. It's not that you, Jason, are a terrible explainer or stupid or something. Or just because I was like, I must not know enough. I must need, I've got a couple of systems thinking courses to take that I've signed up for. There's a lot of free courses out there, by the way. If you just start Googling things, Open University has got stuff. All it costs is you putting your butt in the seat and your ears and your eyes open and paying attention to this thing. So an example of how things could be. So I got this buddy in the space industry. He's very well known in Britain. He ran one of their major missile defense facilities. You could probably figure out who it is from that. And he now runs a space company. And he is constantly overworked. I mean, he writes that he fell asleep looking at his phone trying to calendar something for the next day. Right? That would never happen to me. I'm like, how do you do that? By the time I'm ready to go to sleep, all this stuff is turned off. I'm away from it. Okay? And I think I need to stress this for you. There is a difference between computer land. Don't get me wrong, I love some computer land. I spend a lot of my time here, but this isn't the real world. The real world's out there, okay? Outside with trees growing and geese flying overhead and stuff like that, and things arising and falling. That's what's real. This is a fake thing by humans grafted on top of that. And yet we go into it and we tend to believe that this is reality, what you're looking at on the computer screen here. Computer land is not the real world. Let that sink in. Okay? You need to turn this crap off sometimes and get away from it. And it will actually help your business. It will actually bring more people to you. It will help you make sales by getting away from this crap. Because again, this is human thought junk grafted on top of what's actually happening out there. Okay. So, this fellow in the UK with his space company and that, he's always saying he's exhausted and he doesn't have an end to his days. And maybe you feel that way. And I look at it and I go, what the hell's wrong with you? You're not a dumb guy. Why haven't you solved this problem? And a lot of CEOs have this problem. If you look at studies of CEOs online in the unreal world there, you will find that these CEOs, like their time is not theirs anymore, right? If you're in that role, your time is not your own anymore. You serve all these people. And there is never enough time for you to address everything. Let's just begin with that premise right now. I'm going to say it like I have there, flat out, bluntly, because there's a lot of you who seem to believe that, if only I work harder or work smarter or whatever, I can address every single problem or something, object of attention that comes up on my radar. You cannot. I can't. It's not possible. Nor do I want to. Nor do I want to try. Okay? And having been through that 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014 style experience of wall-to-wall calendar, full access me whenever you want nonsense, I never want to do that again. And I don't want you to have to go through that either. And it's not necessary. Okay? Listen, the world tends to take you at face value. That world out there. Especially if you have the skills to support what you are presenting yourself as. Okay? And then it's easy. But so don't lie. Don't misrepresent. But choose carefully. Like, who am I? What am I? And notice how you're using your time. I've already explained in previous videos how to do that calendar study, right? Watch yourself for a week or two and segment in 15-minute, half an hour segments in your calendar and see how you are actually spending your time. Not how your mental movie believes you're spending it, but how you're actually doing it. And then reorganizing those tasks according to your golden hours so that you can get the most done, right? Another OPEX guy yesterday was asking me, are you putting out a podcast interview every day? No, I am not. I do once or twice a week. And people are constantly telling me, they'll message me and say, how do you get so much content created? How do you get it done? And I'll tell you, it's because I know my Queen Bee role. Mike's book, Clockwork, right? Go check that out if you haven't yet and really think about it, because the criticism of that book that I have most commonly seen of Clockwork is, that's great for small businesses and agencies, but it doesn't apply to big businesses. And I mock you if you say that, because you are wrong. It means you have not assessed yourself, known yourself, and figured out what is it that I'm best at. There's stuff that I should not be touching, and I don't want to touch it. Okay? So knowing your role and sticking to it is really key. So I would recommend getting Clockwork, reading it, figuring out what your QBR is, and sticking to it, okay? Mine is meeting people and creating content and learning stuff. Right? When I do these data dump type videos like this one, there's just a vague connection between, on the other screen here, I've got a list of things I want to cover, right? But There's no real structure to that. It's just sort of stuff. But it's stuff that you need to go into the world and experience for a long time to uncover, or deliberately go look for to uncover. Read a lot of long-form content. Listen to a lot of hour-and-a-half lectures and things like that. Folks, I don't know if you're willing to do that. I'm the guy who does it, and so I can go do that and bring this stuff back to you. So, unless I recommend you do go and listen to the long-form content after, so that you actually understand it, not just hear a concept and believe that you understand it. Get the rest of the stuff around it. But, let me give you this question as an assessor, as something to filter with. Okay, the question is: Are you, the founder, the business owner, are you actually going to personally use this thing, whatever it is? Okay? And if the answer is no, and I mean like really use it. I don't mean like look at it once a week or something like that. Okay? I mean like say a CRM. I'm not going to use the CRM. I've used hundreds of CRMs. I'm good at assessing them, but you know what? I don't give a damn what CRM we use. I don't care, because I'm not going to use it. If I need something from the CRM, guess what? I'm going to go ask my ops manager. I'm going to go ask her, get me this, please. I want to find out this. I don't want to go look it up myself. That is a waste of Jason's time and energy. That is not in his QBR. Okay? Are you going to personally use this thing or not? And if the answer is no, which it most often should be, if you keep answering yes, 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 I am going to use this, I need to know everything, I think you need to reassess, because then you're becoming a technician. And technicians are not founders or business owners. Okay? They are people who bought a job for themselves. And you don't want to be in that equation. No, my friend, you do not. Business owner, founder, is somebody who creates something, and it's like this ecosystem, organism, and it's over there. Okay? So, if the answer is no, I'm not going to personally use this thing or not use it very often in that, then who is? And I recommend you get them to pick the specific tool that they're going to use. What CRM is Cold Star using? Jason Kanigan doesn't care. But his ops people do, because they're the ones using it every day. And so I'm going to give them, outline the delegated tasks, okay? I'm going to say things like, here's the budget. It needs to be in X dollars, okay? Here are things that we really do need to, I need to know from it. You guys add your own, please, okay? And here are some don'ts. Don't want it to be 52 screens. I've seen a lot of CRMs. I tell you, I've sold a lot of CRMs, and I've sold against the number of screens you have to click through just to enter some frickin' data. Microsoft CRM was awful for this. Click through 10 screens just to get to where you want to go to enter in the data. If I can enter the data by clicking through 2 screens instead, we're saving money. And yeah, it doesn't sound like that's 20 seconds, but over and over and over and over again, iteration, right? By the end of the year, with 15 people using the thing, it adds up to a significant sum of money. So, outline for your people really well. Here's the scope of the thing that I need. You guys, add on to this, okay? And get them to co-create. I don't impose. I don't say, I need you to choose from these 3 CRMs. I don't even know what's out there. I mean, I happen to have actually looked through earlier this year, different kinds of CRMs, and I chose nothing. Okay? I chose to stick with Google Sheets with color-coded, if-then statements, conditional formatting for the moment. Okay? Until the ops people pick their own thing. That was because it was wrong of me to choose, and I didn't care. And I was fine with the tool that we had. I didn't need more information. They did, and let them have it. But I'm going to go to them and ask them, right? And a lot of you will be worried, like, oh my gosh, what happens if they all quit, and now I don't know the syntax of anything? You're going to have to learn something somewhere, I guess, but you can always hire more subject matter experts, okay? The problem is not having any cash. If you have cash, you don't have a problem, you have an expense. That's all. Car breaks down, you got reserves of cash, you don't have a problem, you have an expense. Okay? So, but get clear about that. I want you guys to go out and get lunch. I don't care what it is, not Mexican, but nothing against Mexican food. I'm just using it as an example. You could say not Italian, right? No high carb meals. It should fit between $15 and $20 a person, and etc. Right? And let them go and figure that out, right? And get it within 40 minutes. All right. So outline the delegated tasks based on what are you personally going to use or not. If you are personally going to use it, then sure, take a more active role in specifying the exact thing. But if you're not, let them do it. Let your other people do it, okay? So we talked about my friend there with the space business who doesn't know when his day should end. And he's like, your day's end? He actually said that in response to a Facebook conversation we were having. I'm like, yeah. Because I insist on the day ending. I know that it is impossible for me to address every single concern that could come across my radar, and so I'm not going to try. Instead, I'm going to prioritize. I'm going to manage my energy, especially through the golden hours in the calendar. You seeing how all this fits together? And I'm going to stop. Okay? I am probably not going to talk to you after 7 o'clock at night unless there's real money involved. Okay? It's probably not going to happen. I might get on a Zoom call for some money. Yeah, some decent cash, right? But thinking work, I might do creative work like copywriting in the evening, but that's my decision and by myself. I am not involving others, and I am not relying on others, and I am not meeting others during that time. But that's me anyway. So you organize your day how you see fit and how it works for you with your energy rhythms and that kind of thing. But you can set the time. You can say 6 p.m., I'm not doing anything else, right? We got that great video by Brian Johnson looking at Cal Newport's deep work, and then he went and interviewed Cal Newport too. Where they have the total shutdown. Right? I think it's 5 o'clock for him. They actually turn off their computers. That's it. Full shutdown. Stop. No more interaction with the fake reality here. Think about that. Okay? And so what that makes them do as well is work with more intensity, more focus, more intention, and get stuff done. And I'd say I'm about half as good as they are at this stuff. You see what I get done. Right? I'm making this on a Saturday morning because it's fun. Actually, it's afternoon now, but it's just, this is where it fits in, where it's easy to do. I'm not trying to do this on Wednesday morning because I got other stuff to do Wednesday morning, right? So, but I could choose not to do this and leave my weekends alone if I wanted. I just would rather make this video right now. So, your day ends when you say it does. Pick and choose your battles. Where's your energy going to be applied? And don't get involved in anything else, okay? And say, when it's done, it's done. I'm not getting drawn into stuff. I don't have to try and solve all these problems. And if you are overcommitted, maybe you need to hire somebody. Okay? Maybe you need to hire somebody. What activities, tasks are being done by you that don't fit that QBR, that are, what's under, it hurts me to say this, but $100 an hour, because we are worth way more than that. I charge $600 an hour, okay? Finding a client who will pay that, it can be a challenge sometimes, but I charge it. And they're happy to pay because I'm solving them a huge problem, But $100 an hour or below work you should not be doing. So if you're mucking around uploading podcast stuff, and you're mucking around entering stuff in the CRM, and you're mucking around writing blog posts and that, you shouldn't be doing it. You should be delegating that to somebody else. And think about the time that frees up for you so that you can go do $300 an hour work. Okay. So your day ends when you say it does. I'm going to keep hammering on that because a lot of you, it's going to take a while for it to sink in. But no, people, I still am obligated. People, well, then shut down those agreements. Hey, Fred, I know I agreed to do this and that by them, but I can't do it. Let's renegotiate. Okay? If you took on work, paid work, maybe you've got to hustle a little bit to get that done, but clear your schedule and don't take on more, okay? I got friends who I don't believe a word they say in this area, okay? I got one buddy who I'm thinking of who's constantly telling me, oh, I want to work a 4-day week and I'm overwhelmed and I've committed to too many things, and he really has committed to too many things. Like, he's got probably 6 projects on the go. I have 4 on the go usually, and eventually I need to cut the throats of 2 of them. I just can't do it. I'm sorry. In order to get anything done, I need to focus on 1 or 2 things. But anyway, so when this guy gets freed up and he doesn't have to do so many things, guess what he does? He goes and he fills up his time with more stuff, more nonsense, more projects that he can't finish or accomplish. Whoops. I don't think that's a good idea. And then he complains that he's overwhelmed and he can't have his 4-day week and he's tired. What are you valuing here in that situation? Okay? He has not learned the lesson. And he'll learn it for like a day or 2 or a week. Jason, I did it. I had a 4-day week. It was so awesome, and I didn't have to talk to anybody Friday, and it was great. And then next week, he's back at it, full, overflowing with crap again, So let's talk about business structure models here, okay? First thing I want you to think of as yourself, the founder, the business owner, are you the hub or are you on a spoke? Okay, so you think of a wheel, the wheel's got the hub and it's got all these spokes coming out of it. What are you? Okay, at Cold Star Technologies, Jason Canigan is not the hub. He's not. He's out here on a spoke. And I should have gotten this little, maybe next time I'll think about it, my journal where I drew up some of this stuff. I drew that as a diagram like 2 or 3 years ago. So here's Jason out on the spoke. And so that means that Jason is not central to the operation of this thing. It goes on without me. People do stuff. There's an operations person at the center. She's the center. She's the hub. Okay? And then these other people are out on spokes in different divisions in that. We've got data science, we've got process improvement, investigations, analytics. Okay? I'm not needed. I'm not needed for the day-to-day operations, which is what the hub role is. Okay? I'm out here on my spoke. I'm doing stuff. I'm creating marketing, I'm creating content, getting it in front of the target market, driving inquiries, I'm meeting people, I'm creating joint ventures, I'm accessing other people's lists of qualified buyers, etc., etc., etc. But the operations of data science, Jason's not involved in data science or fraud prevention. I mean, I can come in and look at it and spend 5 minutes on it, but that's not my QBR. It's fun, but I'm just not doing that. And I'm not central. The project does not grind to a halt because the founder does not pay attention to it. Okay? And you look at big businesses and agencies in that, founders are not involved in the day-to-day. That work gets shuttled down to associates. Okay? Now let's finish up here. I've been talking for a while about a sort of triangular structure of the agency model, okay? And oh man, I can't remember the book that I found this in. It's in storage somewhere, a few hundred miles away. But I opened it up. It was a book on like management consulting agencies and that. And the opening chapter was something that shocked me because I was not expecting to see it. The guy goes through some business models for agencies, and I was like, holy crap, I've never seen anything like this, and I wasn't expecting it, and this is awesome. Okay, so I'll just give you, one contrasting pair of ideas here about how you could structure your model. How do you want to organize your business? And you don't have to decide this from day one, but you should be thinking about it, right, as you evolve into whatever. I've had to do this with Cold Star, so I know it well, okay? So you think of a triangle, and there's the triangle, okay? And there's a couple different ways we could see this triangle. One, it's very shallow Like it's not very tall, but it's extremely wide at the base. And then the other kind is a very narrow, tall triangle. Okay. Now the skinny triangle, the second one, is the intelligent organization. Okay. We hire experts. We pay them a lot of money. We charge a lot of money. We solve specific high-end problems for high-end clients. Okay. And we get that reputation. All right. The fat one, the one with the wide base of the pyramid, is the more of the management consulting agency that you'll see with the McKinseys and that kind of thing, where you've got a bunch of associates in at the bottom and a few higher level associates and partners at the top. And there's constant churn in that one because there's always tons of opportunities. And so in the shallow model, the wide model, you need to be thinking up or out for those associates who come in. They either get promoted in a couple of years or they get ejected out into the ecosystem and go get jobs somewhere else. But, they've been trained by McKinsey kind of thing. Okay? So that's what you need to be thinking of. The skinny triangle, the expertise business, there's fewer chances for promotion, but people can stick longer because they have specific roles that they perform, right? So they hang on to. So I would encourage you to ask yourself, which kind of business am I in? Am I in that up or out, lots of associates doing low-level grindy work, which fits with the process improvement side of what we do, by the way. My problem is I've got kind of an overlapping business on a business with this model. The fraud prevention and the process improvement expertise stuff is the skinny triangle. The fat triangle is the interviewing, flow charting, setting up for process improvement type of folks. We go through a lot of those where they come in and they work for a while and then they're out because it's time to get other people, and we need to make sure that we're giving good opportunities for people. I don't want somebody bored to death doing the same work for 4 years. I know how bored to death I got doing the same work at a job for even 2 years, 3 years, right? It wasn't a fit for me. I'm not the guy who does the same first year of work for 20 years in a row. I keep, even in a job that I did for 4 years as credit manager for an electrical wholesaler, I did the job differently every year. It was a different job for me as I went, despite apparent continuity in employment. But the way I did it and what I did and where my focus was changed from year to year. Curious thing was the decisions that I made, I'd make them the same way. So that was cool. So I had a consistency of results. So are you in that skinny pyramid or the wide pyramid? And it's really helpful to know that and know, like, okay, what churn should I be expecting here? Because, like, what if you didn't know and you just grabbed a bunch of people and you got this agency and suddenly a lot of them are quitting? It's, a couple years in and people are coming to you and telling you they have to move on because they're not being given interesting opportunities. And you're thinking, well, wait, you're emotionally hurt by this, right? Don't you love me? Don't you love working here? Well, yeah, we do, but, I'm a peacock, I gotta fly, I gotta move on to better opportunities. And so, you might be confused by that situation if you didn't understand the wide pyramid agency model. So, and this is not a thing you're gonna read in some internet marketing BS thing. It's just not gonna come up. This was legit. How to structure, an agency type management consulting book. So maybe I'll go fish it out. But this is the value in having me on your team, okay, and being able to advise you with stuff like this, is I have gone and looked and done the investigation, done the long study to find this stuff. Like maybe you follow my podcast, maybe you don't. I had Nicholas Moran, the chieftain, on, who is employed by World of Tanks and goes out and investigates, researches old World War II tanks, and gets inside them, crawls around on them and stuff like that, makes some great videos on that. And he did a research thing on like a Soviet tank doctrine development from the 20s through the 30s. And so I wanted him on because I'm like, how did you find that data? How did you research? And that, right? And so he was able to explain how he goes about doing this sort of process. That might be interesting for you. There are insights to be pulled from that kind of conversation, right? Like, I go out and I find these people. So we'll see what I come up with to put in the written section below. If you missed the writing, on some of these videos I've put in links to things, and it hasn't been on every one. Some of them don't need anything like that, but some of them have interesting notes in that, so I recommend you check that out. I'd be interested to hear what you want to learn about in terms of agency structure. And I'll sum up with this. You can always email me at jason@jasoncanigan.com, jason@coldstartech.com. Sum up with this. The world takes us at face value, and we get what we allow. Okay, so if you allow an abusive person to come into your life and beat you up, and you keep allowing them to do that, I don't have a lot of sympathy for you. Like, I've been in that situation, and it was my fault. I take full responsibility for it. I stuck it out. I had my reasons to stick it out, and some guys will know. I'm thinking of a British guy who moved to, I think, Thailand, and got remarried there, and knows exactly what I'm talking about. He had his reasons for staying in a terrible situation. So, we get what we allow, and we get what we deserve, in a sense. So if you face your day, assess it, look at, what am I really doing, as opposed to what do I think I'm doing? How can I reorganize that around so that it makes use of my golden hours and my energy in that? And then assessing, like, what should I actually personally be doing? What's my queen bee role? What should I not be doing? What can I delegate? And then, that question of, am I personally going to use this thing? Or do I not give a damn? Really, like the CRM question for me. They're all pretty much the same. Let the staff who are going to use it figure it out, pick it. And then they can't blame you for picking something and imposing it on them, because they chose it. So, very exciting. But anyway, if you have topics that you want to find out more about, I have this problem in that I forget stuff that I've done until I'm triggered by a question or somebody saying something or an image or something that will make me remember, oh yeah, I did that for 2 years, right? Or we did this project. Suddenly I'll remember. So if there is something that you think of that you want to learn about, go ahead and email me about it, and I will use that as content for another video, because I'm sure if you ask about it, there are 5 other people at least who are thinking the same thing, but just don't take the time to ask. So thanks for watching. I will see you soon.